Get out me swamp. We're going full Shrek today. That's right. I should have just doused myself in green paint. I could probably pull off Shrek. I could do it, right, guys? Howdy, everyone. Lang, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm finally able to do the Ogre build. I have the right stabilizers this time, which was my major problem last time. Look, these ones actually go in. Look at that. Look at that. We're actually going to be able to build this. It's a tight fit, but it's a fit nonetheless. So we're finally going to be able to build this. I'm tall enough to be Shrek? Probably. Probably. Hey, Pennywise, what's happening here? I'm going for round 3 with this Ogre build. Because last time I didn't have power. And the time before. Stabilizers too big, sadly. Finally caught the new stream time. This was kind of weird. We were supposed to have we were going to have a normal episode today, like we were trying to do on Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific, that is. And we were planning on that, but Jay couldn't make it into his office today, which is where he does the stream because of snow. So he couldn't leave his house, unfortunately. So instead of doing the show myself, I decided I would just do this build finally. Since I had a good opportunity for it, I figured I'd just finish it off, you know? What stabs did you use for it? Clip-in? Yeah, so no, I had clip-in before. The problem is for whatever reason, the Duroc ones that I had before were a lot thicker, and I actually took calipers to them last stream as well. And it was quite a difference. I don't remember the exact numerical values, but the Duroc ones that I was sent to use with this build were definitely too big for this plate. They wouldn't actually fit through the cutouts. So I was kind of screwed there. So I had to wait until we got some more in. So these are some, I'm pretty sure these are Cherry or GMK clip-in stabilizers. So these should be good to go. Got them all lubed up before the stream. Switches are already lubed as well. These are Glorious Pandas. So if you're unfamiliar with what a Glorious Panda is, it's effectively a Holy Panda in terms of feel and sound. How do you like the Glorious Pandas? They're pretty good. I think they're, as far as Holy Pandas go, it's the best iteration of Holy Panda. Personally don't think they're that great stock, maybe after lubing. Yeah, I would never use a Holy Panda style switch unlubed. I think lube drastically improves the experience. Duroc clip-ins are a bit fatter. Apparently I didn't know that, and I don't know if the plate is just naturally kind of tight, or if it was just the Duroc stabilizers that I had, but they were certainly not compatible, if you know what I mean. Glorious Pandas, wait. What am I waiting for? I'm waiting. Oh lord, we waiting. Lunar Sama, thank you so much for that tier 1. 33-month streak. You're a madman. Absolute mad lad. Oh god, that scared me. My stream froze and I freaked thinking you lost power or internet again. I should be okay. It doesn't seem too rainy or too windy outside. It seems actually pretty reasonable. So if I lose power, I'll be very, very surprised. Now, if I lose internet, I won't be as surprised because, sadly, I have Comcast. I actually lost internet last night. It was around 1 a.m. though, so I should be good. I wish they did a different color for the Glorious Pandas. I do too, honestly. I don't hate this color, but I don't know. I feel like you could have done... There could have been a lot more thought put into it, maybe. They're pleasant to use, though. Did you Franken F the OGs, though? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Got cut too? Am I just dropping frames? I don't think I've dropped a single frame yet. 0 frames dropped according to me, so maybe it's Twitch has been kind of having issues the last week or so, I've noticed. So that could have something to do with it as well. Some of the streams I was watching would kind of just go down, and their site entirely was down for like an hour or two yesterday. So it might be Twitch. So unfortunately, that's very much out of my control. I thought you were the first to make them, unless you mixed with someone else. No. I was the first discoverer of Holy Pandas. I was the first one to put the Halo stem into the Bee Sun Panda housing. So I am the first one to create a Holy Panda. But, I mean, that doesn't mean it's my favorite Switch. I'll tell you that right now. The Holy Panda is not my favorite Switch. I think it's a very unique Switch. It's a very cool Switch. It is a good Switch, depending on what you're after, but I think, you know, here we are 3+ years later, and I think there are a lot of options on the market now compared to what there used to be. And I think there are potentially better options, you know, based on what you're looking for, maybe. For me, I actually much prefer the Zelios V2 over the Holy Panda, and it's a similar Switch, you might argue. But I think the Zelios is just much more refined. Yeah, Huey suggested the name. I decided to go with the name. Huey said I should name them because I was the first one to discover them. And, you know, me being the complete lack of creativity that I am, Huey suggested Holy Pandas. And I said, sure, why not? Zelios too sharp for me? Yeah, that's fair. This hobby's built on preferences. Hey, glad to see you, long beard. What's up, Gunshot? Yeah, I haven't, I mean, as you can probably tell, I haven't shaved in a while. I should probably change that. Alright, maybe I should actually get started here. Let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet, guys. Any suggestion for Thok tactile on brass? I don't think you really get a super good Thok using a brass plate. I think that, like, that deep, at least for me, like, that deep iconic Thok always comes from, like, more plastic components, or just non-metal components in general, perhaps. Tactile's too tactile for me. I mean, that's fair too. Nothing wrong with some linears, nothing wrong with some tactiles. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and this actually should be like a ridiculously seamless build because there aren't a ton of screws in the build. Since the plate is O-ring gasket mounted, we're only doing 3 stabilizers, they're clip-ins, and I've already tested the PCB. And again, switches already lubed. I don't remember what they're lubed with. They're not lubed by me. They're lubed by the owner of this build. Carbon fiber and PC Thok really well. Yeah, I think polycarbonate is a great candidate if you're looking for Thok. And then from there, I'd go with some more like palm or like nylon soundy switches. I'll be back. Need to put the kid to bed. Don't give Brian too hard a time while I'm gone. I think we can manage. This is a pretty chill stream. Not very many people here right now, anyways. So hopefully I'll be okay. But if not, you can ban away when you get back. Carbon fiber plates in half your boards. Oh man, you gotta mix it up, man. Need a little variety, you know. Okay. So let's go for the next round of this build. Again, I'm using clip-in stabilizers here because of this particular board. The O-ring gasket can have conflict with the screws on The presumably the stabilizer area here, I would imagine. Only way it would be easier if it was hot swap. It's probably true. Alright, for this particular board, we are going to be opting for the the fewer stabilizer is better method. So only going to be doing spacebar, left shift, and enter. So we're going to be doing split right shift and split backspace here. So heck, makes it even easier. I have black inks on PC right now, and it fucks, but it's a damn flex meme. It does have a plasticky sound, but it's not too bad. Yeah, so in my this is my Polaris here, and I'm using a polycarbonate half plate with Gateron inks, and this thing is like, this thing's really thocky. Split backspace is the only way. I don't think it's the only way. I think either way is fine. I think aesthetically or functionally you can prefer either. Functionally, I prefer split backspace, but a lot of the times I actually prefer the aesthetic of the normal backspace. But it sort of depends on the board and the kind of style you're going for. Alright, the moment of truth. It's a tight fit, but it's a fit nonetheless. Hopefully the tightness here won't interfere with the actual functionality of the stabilizers. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I have that one just slightly off. Spacebar feels a little tight. How awful would it be if I weren't able to build this board again? Did I just assemble one of these wrong? Okay, thankfully that was just my fault. I had it insert backwards. Rookie mistake. Go ahead and let me have it, chat. Rookie moves. The song is pretty groovy though. I rebind backspace to pipe even if the board doesn't support the layout. Fair enough. What do you think about the sneak box? They are putting a new Alice group by tomorrow. I don't think I've heard of... What is sneak box? I have trouble keeping up with a lot of things in the keyboard community these days. Just because I've been kind of busy with real life stuff. Not that keyboards aren't real life, I suppose. But you know what I mean. Once again, a tight fit. A very tight fit, but a fit nonetheless. Alright, let's go ahead and put a couple switches in and test these stabilizers. Push harder, the Ogre curse. The Ogre and I just obviously do not get along. And that's okay. Sometimes it'd be that way. Well, these are going to be fun to put in. Just like the original Holy Pandas, they're also very tight. Not sure who they are. German. User is Muji Manic. I'm not familiar with that person. They're putting a new Alice group by tomorrow, though. I assume not an actual Alice group buy, just an Alice style group buy. Would be my assumption. Keyboard without right shift. That's right. That's one of those things where I pretty much always, I always prefer is the split right shift. Like maybe not on a TKL or full size. Like maybe not, just because it might aesthetically look better to have the normal right shift there. Put one in here just for a little bit more stability. All right, let's find some keycaps to test with. Just because they're right here, and I really do like looking at the color. I'm going to use Botanical to test. There's an enter. Man, Botanical came out nice. Shift, that'll work. Good old 7U spacebar. I'm a monster. I run split right shift on my TKL. I mean, it's not bad, right? Stabilizers all sound great, thankfully. And the tight plate doesn't seem to be hindering the performance at all. Holy Panda on the spacebar is going to be a little loud, but we'll see what happens. Have I joined any group buys lately? No, not yet. I'm still currently unemployed, so I don't really have a whole lot of spare income, sadly. Working on trying to find some work, you know. IP993, thank you so much. So that tier 1 sub, 14 months, man. Was that a Pizza Heart? That's adorable. I like it. If you're wondering what all this crap is on my desk now, it's just the remnants from the GMK packaging. What field? No real field, because I don't have a college education, unfortunately. I was working in, I mean, I guess just customer service. I was a table games dealer at a casino. I don't particularly want to go back into that field. I feel I'm selling stuff instead of buying. Yeah, I've been kind of slowly selling off some stuff as well. You lost your job back in February and had to struggle for a good bit. Oh man, that's a bummer, Chiletas. I feel you, man. I'm with you. I've been out of work since March, so I definitely feel you. Keep your head up though. Oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. We always looking forward, you know. You know how it goes. I'm drinking some roasted barley tea, if anyone's curious. Shout out to Trader Joe's. I wish they would sponsor. Alright, well, let's go ahead and break our thumbs real quick by putting the rest of these switches in. So how you guys doing, though? How's everyone's New Year's? I know, as an American, you might be very scared, confused, worried right now. And I can definitely relate. I've been feeling kind of down about a lot of the stuff that's going around right now. Not just COVID, obviously, but, you know, in our political system. Not that I want to, you know, get too political on this, because I don't. But it's been a mood. It's been a mood lately, guys. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. But hopefully, you know, you guys are having a good new year, and maybe you have a lot of positive things happening to you. I sure hope that's the case. Just hammer them in? I probably should. Probably should. It almost sounds like I'm breaking the board, right? But yeah, tell me about what's going on in your lives, guys. It's a new year, 2021. What are you hoping for? What are you doing? New Year's resolutions? Anyone following through with some positivity? Oh man, I can already feel my thumb wearing down. It's not as bad. It's definitely not as bad as the Singa plate with Holy Pandas. My gosh, that is a thumb-breaking board. To be honest, I watch keyboard streams because it's a nice escape from all the stuff that's happening. Waiting to try a plateless build with a weird flex PCB. I feel you, man. Keyboards are a great escape, man. And waiting to try a plateless build with the weird flex, huh? What kind of setup do you have in mind? I have a build that's very similar to that. Well, I guess technically it is that. Hoping to find a decent job to spend half my income on keyboards and PC hardware. It's the little things in life, right? Spend less, reduce some debt. Nice, nice. You're gonna Dremel out. Oh wow, okay. So on your Tofu 60, you're gonna Dremel out the middle post. That's a bold play, but I like it. So normally I would just recommend getting one of the Mechanisk tray mount cases, because all of their new revisions of their tray mount cases have the removable center post, so you can make it 4-post, which is really awesome. But the problem with that is it costs an amount of money, and if you already have the tofu and the Dremel, well, gosh darn it, that costs $0, and it's hard to argue with free. The things we do for keyboards, guys. Since I don't want to completely ruin this current desk mat. I'll go ahead and put a little work mat right over this real quick. Something I can push against a little bit easier without having to worry, you know? Not that my Metropolis desk pad is in very good condition, because it's honestly not. But it's a little bit better. Need a hammer? I might, man. We'll see what happens. You just can't show fear, guys. That's the trick. You can't show fear. If you show fear, it's all over. If you show fear, the keyboard wins. I just typed this message with my custom-built 3D printed Hall Effect keyboard. It's printing stabilizers now. Wow, interesting. Do you have like an album you can share with us so we can take a look at it or something? That sounds really fun. Tiny gunsmith mallet with nylon side would be perfect. Oh man, I wish. I wish. I will use a bit of padding though to kind of help my thumb out a bit. It sounds so brutal, but I mean, they're going in perfectly, so. Some easier than others, I suppose. I posted a vid to YouTube. It's in the Keeb Picks channel on the Talk Talk Discord. Oh yeah? Recently? Like today? Oh, okay, I found that. I found it. I'm gonna open that now so I can take a look at it after this. Because that's super cool. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. This is kind of related to this process. Is it? I'm watching this link. Oh, man. Nah, it's not that bad. You just gotta... Taking switches out is easy. You just have to... You just have to know how to finesse them. That's why I really like Spudgers. Spudgers, you can get a lot more, like, control to be able to take switches out. Like, the switch removers, like the Rama puller and stuff like that, like, those work fairly well, too, a lot of the time, but... I don't know. I really do think, like, just, like, a simple pair of Spudgers works so much better a lot of the time. At least for me. PCB still needs a lot of work. Built-in USB hub chip failed. Now I have to redesign with a new one. Oh, that's a bummer. That sounds like prototyping. Oh boy. My thumb is going to be broken by the end of this build. Thank God it's only a 60%, you know? So what's everyone looking forward to this year in terms of keyboard stuff? Any new trends you guys have already been seeing or that you think will blow up in the 2021 year? Gian. I have noticed the rising popularity there, that's for sure. I have yet to use a Gian Works board. Vanquish 65 looks really interesting from Gian. Nice, nice. I think gaskets is going to be a thing. I mean, gaskets will probably always be a thing. Analog keyboards are going to be hot in 2021. Getting lots of folks asking for designing them. Okay. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I'm down for that. I feel like I'm going to break my desk. Also excited to get the Alu KL90. KL90. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Is that magnet mount keyboard coming out this year? You mean the Lodestone? I'm not sure what the actual tentative date on the Lodestone is. Twenty twenty one magnets? Maybe. It could be. I'd be very okay with that. Anything that like drastically changes the keyboard experience, I think is going to be kind of cool. Also 2021 keyboards with fans under the keycaps to keep your fingers cool. Yeah, so like a single fan under each keycap. Is that how it works? And then you have like 7 fans under the space bar. So basically, like for every one U, you have 1 fan. Because I think that's probably the way to do it. That just makes sense. I like this idea. That sounds like a lot of fun. I remember, that kind of reminds me back when I was just a wee lad and I had a PS2. The PS2 was all the rage, and I remember getting this like enormously bulky controller, and it had some like cheesy name that had air in the title, and it had like perforations all around the handles of the controller, and it had fans inside with a fan controller on the front face of the PS2 controller. And basically, you could just like I think it was even like individual. So you could like up your left fan speed for your left hand and your right hand speed for your right hand. Oh man, that thing was brilliant. It would keep your hands relatively cool during pretty long sessions of gaming. Truly the pinnacle of technology. 2x 120 millimeter? Under each keycap, huh? That sounds difficult. I don't know if I'm doing stepped caps lock or not. I need to go check that. Give me just a moment, guys. Stepped caps. Okay. Cool. Perfection. And ultra-light honeycomb keycaps? Oh my gosh. I think you guys are onto something. I think you guys need to make this a reality. And you can show off your biggest fan. Wow. You're a huge fan? You're a person. You're a human. Most likely. Could be good to have haptic feedback on WASD. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen haptic feedback on a keyboard. It's definitely something rare, though. It'd be cool to see that more often. Some OG boards had solenoid, yeah. Yep, that's a classic too. Are we bringing that back? Is 2021 gonna see some solenoids? Come on. There we go. Very nice. Cup left over just in case I need them. Chances are these are going to be pretty well in there thanks to how tight the plate was. Yeah, very nice. Cool. Time for a hydration break. My poor thumb is going to be so... It's going to be so red tomorrow. Do your glorious pandas have a lot of leaf ping? I feel like mine have a lot. I think there's a little. I don't know. We'll have to wait until I get some caps on it, then I think it'll be a little bit easier. I don't know exactly how these have been lubed, though, so it's possible the leaves themselves have some lube on them. I was going to try hooking up some relays to my Hall Effect keyboard to get that top clack sort of sound. Well, uh-oh. What is the top clack sort of sound? That sounds scary. That sounds like something I might not want to be a part of. Maybe I should do a test fit before I solder. I'm not going to screw anything in, but I just kind of want to see how this goes. Because it's supposed to be like kind of simple, but sort of complex as well. I didn't realize how small of a bit this used. This one. Oh, relays make a seriously loud clack sound when they activate? Okay, that makes sense. Didn't AIO3 post a pic on Insta of a PCB with solenoids? It's quite possible. It wouldn't surprise me at all. That guy's always thinking outside the box. I love it. So I'm just going to do just a kind of a sort of a pseudo test fit, I guess, before I do any soldering. Just to kind of familiarize myself with it, I guess you could say. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to plug it in yet. But basically that'll rest just like that. That'll slide over. It sort of just comes together like this. Okay. That seems fairly straightforward. Let us do some soldering. Probably need a soldering iron if I'm going to be doing some soldering. That would be pretty important. Gonna need some solder. Turns out that's also a big part of the process. And I mean, in this case, I'm gonna need some kind of power, so I'm gonna plug it in. Believe it or not, guys. And we'll wait for this to heat up. This should be a pretty awesome build, honestly. I'm excited to use it. It's not mine, sadly, for those in the chat that weren't aware. I should open a window if I'm going to be soldering. Get some kind of airflow in here. That would be the smart play. Alright guys, let's get to soldering. I'm pretty happy with the lo-fi beats on this station today. This is good stuff. Morven Mad subbing tier 1 for 8 months. What's up, man? Says dude. Thank you so much for that sub. That's a dank saxophone. I know, right? Isn't it great? I've bent a pin on this switch, and I guess I forgot to check it. That pin is sort of destroyed. I can fix it, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to use one of my spares. There we go. Very nice. Might as well check for the rest of the bent ones in case there are any more. I should have done that before I started soldering. Alright. We're good otherwise. Wonder if Zeal clickies will be any different design than the click jacket and click bar. I don't know. I guess we're still waiting to see, right? Any TKLs in the market right now that you like for the price? For the price? I don't know, man. TKLs are always... I feel like they're always so expensive. So I'm assuming you mean like custom TKLs and not like OEM TKLs. But yeah, I don't know. There's very few TKLs I'd actually buy. Speaking of which, I actually got my Heine TKL in today. My Heine TKL 1. Very excited. That'll be on an upcoming build stream as well. Need to decide which switches I want to put in it. This is keyboard making music seductively opens fusion. Oh yeah? What are you gonna come up with, man? Let us know. I see a Heine. Yeah, this is a Heine PCB. TKL market is not healthy. Yeah, I feel like it's never been, honestly. There are some great TKLs, but I mean, they're usually pretty limited and they're usually not cheap. The KBD 8X Mark II. Yeah. I mean, it's not like an insanely amazing board, but it's pretty darn good for the price. It might not compete with, you know, a lot of the more higher end, nicer TKLs, but it's also, you know, half or a third of the cost. Can force yourself to build your Nebula STKL because it's too many switches to lube. Oh man, now you're starting to sound like me. Working on a screwless 60 just for fun right now, testing a few things. Oh, that sounds really fun. Yeah. Let me know. I'd like to see it. I'm all for the fun new things, you know? Magnets. Absence of screws. Analog. What key set should I put on here? Silver board, red plate. Maybe I'll test botanical. Maybe I'll actually put botanical on something finally. If you were new to the hobby and you wanted to buy a board to try as many plate materials as possible, what board would you buy? That's a phenomenal question. Actually, a very good question. Let me think about that for a minute. I want to try as many plate materials as possible. What board would you buy? I mean, I think if you're trying to try out as many plates as possible, you almost have to go for a tray mount case, right? Because like you can find tray mount plates in basically like any material in the community, but not necessarily every like custom kit that's, you know, sandwich mount or top mount or gasket mount is going to come with the option for, you know, all the plate materials basically. So I think you're sort of limited to tray mount, but thankfully it's pretty easy because you could just maybe pick up like a whatever 60% tray mount case you want. I would recommend something a little bit nicer, like the Clippa, you know, which has the removable center posts. That by default has a few plate options that Mechanisk offers, but you can also find plate materials for just about pretty much, you know, any other material rather. Just in the community, like you're gonna find people that will cut carbon fiber plates for you. You're gonna find people that can cut palm plates for you. You know, stainless steel, brass, copper, polycarbonate, you know, acrylic, carbon fiber. Like you can get them all. Like, and it doesn't take too much effort. And if you do something like maybe a hot swap PCB for 60%, then you just have like a really nice, easy test bench, right? Because like you'll have like a somewhat dense aluminum case in the Clippa, then you'll have a hot swap PCB, so you can kind of really easily kind of not only try different switches and stabilizers and things like that, but also the plate materials that you're after. So I mean that's probably what I'd suggest. Like if you're just trying to try things, it's nice to have like one or two good test bench boards that don't cost, you know, too much, that you can kind of just throw around and try whatever you want in. Screwless and seamless. That's fancy. On the other hand, the tray mount won't give all the materials justice. That's the drawback. That's the drawback because like some materials and setups just they just feel and sound better than a tray mount with a tray mount plate will feel. Nothing against tray mounts. I think they very much serve a purpose, and it's obvious how popular they are, and just due to their accessibility and overall value. But it's true. I mean, a $4, $5, $600 keyboard that's really nice, good machining, good design, top mount, or like a nice gasket mount is just going to sound and feel and perform better and or differently than a tray mount with a tray mount plate and like a hot swap PCB. Like those are just the facts. But unless you want to spend obscene amounts of money, it's kind of hard to try everything, right? Just any decent board with an open source plate file. Yeah. Walker's hot swap Fanu is amazing. I mean I believe it. That would probably work pretty well for a test bench. I'm not going to support anything called Fanu because I'm not really a big fan of copies or clones or anything thereof. Um, but or is the Canoe open source? I don't think it is, right? Maybe I'm crazy. Care if I post a few screenshots in chat? I mean, as long as they're stream appropriate, feel free. Is it crazy to go all in on one high-end keyboard as a first and only build? I mean, you're going to find different schools of thought there. I mean, there's a lot of people. I myself included, I guess I would say. I would say you should have like a more beginner or entry level starting point because I think it gives you a much better frame of reference for like what is better and what is worse. Particularly to you personally. I think if you just go all in and you start with something like really nice, you A might not appreciate it as much, and B you'll have like no frame of reference for how good it is. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you're gonna have people on opposing sides of the idea, so it's whatever. I mean, you could argue that if you're only going to get one board ever and you're not going to ever buy another one, then why not like get exactly what you want and spend as much as you want on it? I don't know. I think the way I think is kind of more of an old school kind of keyboard enthusiast mindset where I do think you should start with an OEM, maybe even like a shittier one, and you kind of work your way up because then you understand like not only keyboards better, but I feel like you understand the community better. But with a question like that, I think you also have to ask yourself, right? Like, what do you want from the keyboard community? Why are you here? Like, what do you want out of this? Because I think that'll often kind of lead to the answer to a question like that. Some people are just here because like the memes. Some people are just here because they want one keyboard and they want to get out, or they want one keyboard, they just want to sit around and talk, and like all of it's valid. Some people want to come in and they want crazy collections. They want to have, 25, 50, 100 keyboards. They want to have all these nice high-end customs and all these exclusive limited items. Everyone's a little different, right? And there's nothing necessarily wrong with any of it. But, it might affect how you should go about the community and to get the best value and the best experience. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling. GNU is not open source, but plate files are floating around somewhere. Yeah. I'm not going to advocate for cloning or using clones or copies, so that's how I feel about that. As long as you know exactly what kind of mount and case material and layout you want, otherwise you might get something high-end and not realize. I noticed a lot of OEM boards have steel plates, but none of the recent customs do. Is there a reason for that? I mean, there was a point in time in the custom community many years ago where, like, non-metal plates weren't even really a thing. Like, almost every board had some kind of metal plate, whether it was aluminum was super popular, steel was pretty popular, and brass a lot less so at the time. But I think steel was just cheaper, and a lot of OEMs saw it as premium. And you could argue for OEM, it kind of is in a way, but I mean that's just, it seems like at the time at least that's just the way things were. I don't know what the original thought of for starting with steel was, or why they decided to go with that originally. But yeah, a lot of the older Philco boards, the Magist Touch series. I always get that wrong. And some Leopold boards and stuff, they all use steel plates. It gave the keyboard a bit more heft, and it was like a much more consistent and rigid typing experience, which was kind of just normal at that time, I guess. Oh, I guess there was a second part to that question too. Why don't we see recent customs with steel plates? Steel in the community has kind of been sort of phased out in terms of plate material. It's kind of rare to see them these days because most people find it just too firm, too rigid of an experience. And some people might not like the sound quite as much because it's a little bit more reflective, a little bit more intensive, just because of how steel is. Personally, I like steel. It was my favorite plate material for quite a while. I kind of like the things that nobody else likes, if that makes sense. There's nothing inherently wrong with a steel plate. I just think the tastes of the overall community have changed, and steel is a trend that's sort of died out. That's a great question, though. It honestly is. I went through a lot of boards, both budget and premium, to know what I like and what I want. Yeah. And, like, 256K, I know you've been around in the hobby for quite a while, too. And I feel like that's just, it's like somewhat of a byproduct of being in the hobby for a while, is like, over time you're just going to try more things. But it's so much more difficult to just come in this hobby and know things these days, because there's just so much information and so much you need to experience. And if you don't experience it, you're really lacking that knowledge. Pros and cons of keyboards, I suppose. Oblotsky has a steel weight. Yeah, I like steel weights. I much prefer them to brass weights. Stainless steel ain't cheap right now. Yeah, it used to be. Used to be. Duck standard plates are steel, and they're absolutely terrible. Yeah, I mean, they're certainly not for everyone. All right, I just got a few more switches to solder here, guys. Just the final last row here. We can get this assembled. Sorry if my head's in the way. I really try to make it so I don't just take up the entire camera with my balding head, apparently. All right, all soldered up. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. We're about to find out. How do you compare the flexibility of steel versus brass versus alu? Yeah, like Pennywise says, it really depends on the mount. But, I mean, alu will generally feel a fair amount softer than the other two. The other two will usually feel pretty close. I personally find steel a little bit harsher than brass in most of my experiences, but again, it could just be the structure of the build itself, not necessarily the material. But alu is like almost certainly always going to be a bit softer and flexier, rather, almost regardless of the mounting. All right, let's plug this in and do a little test, shall we? Let's see how many switches I messed up. All right, One switch down. 61 more to go. Okay, these two keys don't register anything, but those are often function keys by default, so I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. In fact, I'm just going to open up VIA and make this easy. Pretty sure the H60 is in VIA. I'm going to look real stupid if it's not. Ah, yes, perfect. Alright, I'm just going to map those two keys to something real quick. Maybe I'm trying to get too fancy with this. I'm just going to map this to something else. Make that alt. 3. Okay. Just for the sake of testing. Perfect. Everything works. Everything registers. That's what we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, we're about ready for final assembly, guys. Yeah, man, gotta put in the time. I know, right? Also high a long time. It's been a while, right? My memory is usually terrible, like when it comes to almost everything. But when it comes to usernames in the keyboard community, I never forget a username. You don't use an extractor fan like the others do. I'm not as cool as the others, so I can't use an extractor fan. No, I should. If you're soldering, you should use an extractor fan or, you know, a better setup than what I do, which is usually just open a window. I used to have a theme extractor on my old soldering iron. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have one. Sean's asking, where do people get custom plates cut? It's like Pennywise and 256K already have your question answered there. Thank you so much for the sub, though. 256K. Appreciate that, man. Is the curse of the Ogre lifted? I mean, we're making pretty good progress on it so far. Get my work mat out of here so it doesn't look quite as terrible. All right. Let me make sure I have this all lined up correctly here. This has to be pretty accurate if I'm not mistaken, so Forgive me for taking extra time on it. Make sure I get the cable in the right spot. Alright, that should be pretty good. Nice. Okay. So this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, from what I've seen on the build video at least, where I sort of need some opposing things to hold the case up so I can screw it in very gently corner to corner. I'm going to use my tweezer package thing here, and I guess I'll go with that. That's about the same. So they suggest using books or DVD cases or things of that nature in the build guide, but I don't really have any of those laying around. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'll rest one side there, one side here. And then we'll kind of start screwing in one side at a time. Don't jinx it, let him finish the build. I know, right? What's up, Don? Joining the best moment? Yeah, we're getting close, in theory. Damn, that board is naked and already looks good? Yes. There's no joint on the leaf? I don't know what you're referring to, I'm sorry. Red plate is pretty sexy? Yes. No blockers, Pog? Yes. Alright, so we're gonna kind of put one in at a time here. Screw it in until we start to feel a little resistance, then we stop. And then we do the opposing corner screw. And we pretty much repeat that and tighten it until we're done. I'm focusing hard here, guys. Alright, go back to the first couple. I'm going to tighten them in probably 3 stages. I think I have it a little off. The front's raised just a little bit, so I'm gonna attempt this again, basically. It would be easier to line with keycaps. I don't think it's necessarily like that axis of alignment, right? It's more of like a vertical axis. It's possible I have the gasket just like slightly off. I want to make sure I do this the right way so I don't hurt this board at all, since it's not mine. The battle with the Ogre seems successful. So far, yeah. So far it's been going pretty well. Just working on this final alignment. This screw seems a little stripped. I'm gonna have to be careful with that one. I don't think there are extras, unfortunately. Actually, I should check. I don't think there are, but it'd be cool if there were. Apparently not, so I'm gonna have to be really careful with that one. Seems like a finicky build process. A little bit. A little bit. But it's just how it goes, you know? Okay, yeah, I think I see the issue. Gotta make sure the gasket's all the way in here. Kind of like it is up there. It's a little difficult to align. Just a little bit. But we'll get there. Actually, that looks pretty good. Can't quite tell if I have this right or not. What features convinced me to buy the Ogre? This isn't mine. Although it is a super cool build. And if I could afford one, I would totally have bought one. Mostly because it's an O-ring gasket board, and it looks just absolutely gorgeous. Currently modding switches for your Jane? Oh, nice. I'm assuming it's just supposed to like mostly compress. Because it feels like I have the alignment right. Still getting a slight bulge in the front, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe I don't have the gasket on properly. Should be, though. This must be where the battle with the Ogre really starts. Come to the conclusion, I hate filming, but it must be done for these switches. The things we do for keyboards, man. The things we do. Okay, this looks a little better, I think. Alright, it seems more promising. Let's go with this. Whew. Some builds are just tedious. Hey, how are you? Going pretty well, mate. Going pretty well. Could it be the stabs? It could be, but I mean they're clip-in like they should be. Time to start this slow screw multi-stage process again. A little bit at a time. If the housing protrude off the PCB a little bit more, it could impact the gasket. That's true. I mean, these should be fine though, like these particular ones. They're cherry clip-in, which I'm pretty sure is the suggested usage. I think I might have to try to find a couple replacement screws. These seem to strip kind of easily. I might actually have some on standby. Okay, I'm just going to tighten a little bit. I'm going to put that one in pretty gently because that one's starting to strip. Still not getting quite the seal I want, but that might have to be for another time. Try to get some more screws here, and so I don't have to worry too much about stripping them. I don't want to like use these ones too much because they seem kind of flimsy. This should definitely do for now, though. This is pretty sturdy. All right, let's throw some caps on it and give it a go, shall we? Fight the ogre curse, my dude. Fight the ogre curse. Yeah, man. I'm trying. Have you tried to kiss the board to lift the curse? I have not. Maybe it would take 3 streams to build. No, I think this is good enough for now. I'll try to locate some more. I have a bunch of screws, but I'd have to go through them and try to find the right size. But once I find a few more screws, I have a specialty screw store down the street too, which is pretty convenient. So I might get some more to play around with because I don't want to. There's a couple I don't want to use too much more because they seem to not want to take the multiple screw route, if you know what I mean. Do you maybe know if it would be a waste to use Taiwan jet access linear switches? I guess they are rare. So yeah, those are pretty rare. I've used them before, and they were not that good. It's kind of cool, like it's like a collectible sort of, but that's about as far as I'd go with it. Disco Crocodile, thank you so much for the sub for 10 months, man. Appreciate that. I'm gonna screw you gently. Are you? I'm scared. All right, well let's give this a try, shall we? I'm going with Botanical. Botanical can look good on a silver board, right? That's a thing. I'm sure hoping so. Taiwan Jet Access. WTF is that? Sounds like something unorthodox. It's pretty uncommon. Interestingly enough, they're actually like pretty much just like the same MX format. It's just kind of like a clone-ish. They're pretty uncommon, but they're not particularly good. In my experience, at least. Hugo is afterthought. Keyspresso second-rate vendor. What does that mean? Oh, wrong stream? That's funny. That's actually funny. Did you lube them? I did not lube these. These were lubed by the owner of the board. Olivia or Oblivion with that board. Maybe Honeywell or Hyperfuse. Camping. I'm going to use Botanical. I want to use Botanical. I don't really care. I don't care what anyone else thinks about this particular scenario. I'm doing it. Just because I want to see Botanical on a board. I haven't put it on a board yet. I don't have camping, I don't have Hyperfuse, I don't have Oblivion, and I don't have Olivia. I have Honeywell, but I've used Honeywell a lot, and I kind of wanna give Botanical some love, you know. Botanical is okay with this. I'll work with okay. I'm okay with that. It would look good with silver. That was my thought, at least. But I mean, I'm not a color expert, and I'm not going to claim to be. Gonna upset everyone here and go with some mod tilde action. It's a nice green. It sure is. Color of alpha is perfect for silver board. Yes. Yes. Should we go accents or not? I'll set the accents aside. We can maybe decide on that later. For the enter and escape. Green is not my color. Not obsessed. It is the way. Are you a green phenom? So the owner did not send you the keycaps? No. These are the botanical set is mine. I don't know if I want barred or scooped. I'll decide on that later. No accents, I like the mods green. Yeah, fair enough. Still has some of the what is it? Potato starch from the new GMK packaging trays. It's like there's still like remnants of this. What I'm pretty sure is potato starch. Got to start cleaning off my keycaps after I unbox them, I guess. I think we'll go with Bard. I want to go with Bard this time. Love me some Bard caps. Wait a minute, that's wrong. Man, Botanical really does look great. I love this. Why is this so messy? All right, looking pretty nice though. Right, right. All right. What do you guys think? Accents? No accents? I kind of like it without, but accents not too bad either, honestly. What do you guys think? Accents? No accents? Guess I can do a little sound test as well. Pause this music. All right. Let's listen to what this sounds like, guys. You like the accents? Fair enough. I'm terrible at snapping. Sorry, guys. This should be pretty obvious, though. That's not bad, actually. That's pretty decent. It's like a pretty creamy Holy Panda almost. Spacebar's nice. Yeah, Spacebar's pretty nice. FN had some scratch for my on glue. I mean, they all have a little bit of scratch. They all have a little bit of scratch, but like that's kind of just like how Holy Pandas work, or Glorious Pandas in this case. Not really any different than a normal Holy Panda. There's always like a little bit of scratch sound in my experience. It does sound pretty good though. This would be a board I would totally use for a while. Gasket mount aluminum plate. Very nice. Gateron ink level scratchiness, so it's fine. All of my Gateron inks have been like crazy smooth, but mine are also quite old. The sound of Holy Pandas is one of my favorites. I even did a linear build with Yak housings and Kale sliders to replicate that sound. Oh, nice! I remember when a couple people were doing that actually. You'd use like a Kale burgundy stem or something like that. Glorious Pandas are a little scratchy. To me, it's okay. They're honestly rather good. They are. They honestly are. Yeah, this could have came out way worse. Kind of jealous I don't own one of these now. Nice. Kale black, they're long as well. Yeah, I think they're all supposed to be like around 3.6 millimeter travel versus 4. So that makes sense. I just know, I know a few people that use the burgundy stem on it. Well, guys, momentarily I'll be heading off. So if you have any final questions about the board or I guess anything else, do let me know before I head out. J-Shuff, thank you so much for the 500 Ogre Slayer bits. We finally got it. Still a little bit more adjusting to do. I can get this bottom a little bit more perfect. It's not quite in all the way. I think I can do a little bit better. I want to get some more screws so I have backups before I do anything crazy. Well, not crazy, but more fidgeting rather. You got to be careful. This is the kind of board that you finesse. We also got to find someone to raid. Who should we raid? My thumb is already like starting to get kind of red because of the switches. Too funny, guys. Too funny. Nice build. The boards sound very refined. Thanks for the cozy, mellow entertainment. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me on this cozy, mellow stream. I know it's not as exciting as a lot of the other streams out there, but we try to have a little good time as well. TKC, maybe? Is TKC streaming? I don't think I've ever actually watched a TKC stream. Let me check who's on right now. Alex Otis is on. I like to raid people that have a lower viewer count when possible. Basic Builds is on. Hugo's on. Check out the makers and crafting. Is TKC, what channel does TKC? Oh, it is just the Key Company. Okay. Interesting. Wow, there's a lot of keyboard streamers on right now. Crazy. We'll probably go with basic builds. She's pretty cool. I know she's cool. I know she's wholesome, and she has fewer viewers at the moment. So we'll go with basic this time. Hugo, maybe? We rated Hugo not too long ago. We'll raid basic this time. Nothing against Hugo, though. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for joining me on my my battle of the Ogre. We slayed the Ogre, finally. It's been done. And it came out quite well, too. It was a lot of effort, sort of, but came out quite well. Alright, guys. Let's start this raid. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day.